In this tutorial, we'll be taking a look at the entities inside FPS Creator. Now, all of our entities are located on our library panel. At the bottom here, you'll see Entities tab. So if you go ahead and click on that tab, basically this panel right here is going to show you all the entities that are in your level currently. So first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to add a new entity. So of course what we're going to do is click on this Add New Entity button, and basically this will bring up our entity library. You'll see we have some generic stuff. We also have sci-fi, which includes characters, furniture, some items such as weapons and stuff, some scenery, which will be teleporters, lifts, that kind of thing, wall furniture. Your user is something that you put in, so you can download, say, model packs and stuff like that from the game creator's website. You can also get various packs from their forums as well. Underneath that, we have the World War II section, which again comes by default, same as sci-fi and generic. So what I'm going to do is I'll start off with grabbing some furniture here in sci-fi. I'm just going to grab this table here. It's called Mod Tables B8. Now I'm going to say OK, which will add it to our library, so that allows me to place it inside our game. Now I just zoomed in here just so we can get a better look at what's going on here. Now as you can see, I have a table following my cursor. It's pretty much just free flow, following my cursor wherever I move it. If you don't like this mode, there's two other modes that you can use. You can get to these modes by pressing the B key on your keyboard. The first time you press B, what it will do is it will turn basically that flow mode into a small grid. It may be hard to see on the video, but this table is moving in a very small grid. So this is good for placing, say you wanted this table at the edge of this wall or something. It's good for doing work like that. The final mode that you have, if you press the letter B one more time, will put you into what I call units. So basically it's moving in the same pattern as your segments. So what this does is it also makes it easy to place things along walls or say in the center of the room. Now, placing entities is just as easy as anything else. All you have to do is put it where you want, left click with your mouse button, and then you can see that the game now has a table in it. Now you'll also notice that there is another table following my cursor. This is just a copy of the table that we just laid down in our level. So what I mean by that is if we change the script of our current table to something else, this copy would also have that same script. Now to get rid of this copy, because I don't want to lay down any more tables, all I have to do is right click with my mouse button, and that will remove the table from my cursor, allowing me to go and add a new entity or pick up an existing entity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the same mod table that we had here, and as you can see now I have a brand new table underneath my cursor. One of the things that you can do with entities is you can rotate them. Rotating is fairly easy. All you do is press the R key, which will rotate them 45 degrees. If you want better rotation, you can hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and press the letter R, which will give you a 1 degrees of rotation. So that allows you basically to go 360 degrees instead of 45 at a time. Now I'm just going to get rid of that one. And one of the other things that we can do while we're in our entity mode here is we can hover over, say, entities in our level and left click to pick them up. So say I didn't want that table down there, I just left clicked, and let's say I want to place it up here, which then I can get rid of the copy again. Now when I pick up, say, any entity, it's going to have all the things that we assign to it, all the properties. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add another entity here. I'll add a character. Now again, it's just going to load it into our library. This character is going to follow our cursor here. So what I'll have this character doing is I'm just going to put him right up against this table here. And then of course get rid of the copy. Now you'll notice that when I mouse over these two entities, they highlight. Now if you're if your mouse, when you mouse over them, if it's not highlighting, that means that you're not in entity editing mode. So what you need to do is come up to your toolbar and click on this icon here, which is entity mode, or you can use the keyboard shortcut, which is the letter N on your keyboard. So let's say I was in segments. Now you can see that it doesn't highlight or anything, so if I press N on my keyboard, now I can highlight them. So basically when I highlight them, like I said before, you can pick them up, or you can right click on an entity to view its properties. With properties here on the left, and you'll get a nice 3D view on your screen here, which you can use your arrow keys to move your character up and down, back and forth. The page up and page down will move your character basically in different layers, so basically you can go higher or lower. Now, one of the other cool features in this mode that you can do is you can use the number keys on your keyboard to rotate your character. So the number 1 could be your X, the number 2 is going to be the opposite of your X, so to get him back. 3 and 4 can be your Y, and 5 and 6 can be your Z. Now I'm just going to cancel out of this, and I'm going to add another new entity here. I'm going to go down to wall furniture, and I'm just going to pick one of our lights here. I'm going to say OK to add this entity. Now I'm going to go into our unit mode, and what you'll notice is there is now a white arrow pointing basically upwards right now. What this means is it's looking for a wall segment or a piece of glass or a door or something to place this entity on. So if I were to stick it, say, out in the middle here, if you were to run this game, you would see that, and it would look out of place. Now with these wall entities, what you can do is you can also rotate them, you can edit their properties, but it's best to put them on the wall. So basically, if you're near a wall and you see the arrow up, then all you have to do is left click, and the editor will automatically put it on the wall. The same goes for any sides. One of the cool things with the walls, you can put them in corners as well, these wall entities. So then you can have a light in the corner there shining down. Again, you can pick up and remove the wall entities just like any other entity in the game. Okay, so finally what I want to cover is probably one of the most asked questions that I've seen, is basically how do I get an entity on top of another entity? Now what I mean by that is, say you have your game here and you want a key on top of this table right now. What you need to do first, of course, you're going to have to add a new entity. I'm going to go into the sci-fi items, choose this key 1 here. Now I have basically a key following my cursor, and you'll notice that when I put my cursor over this table, the key goes underneath the table. Now that's not very good. So what we want to do is place this key on top. Of course, one method you could do is you could place your key on the floor there. You could right click to view its properties, and then you could use your page up and page down buttons to move it up on top. Of course, this is going to take some time to do, but that is another method that you can do. So you can basically put it just right on top there by just using the page up, page down, and your arrow keys. Now, you could see that that took some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this key, start with a brand new key just by selecting it from our library here, and probably this is going to be the easiest way. You'll probably be doing it this way forever. All you need to do is put your cursor over top of the entity that you want this key to be on top of. So in this case, I want it to be on top of this table, and all I have to do is press the Enter key on my keyboard. It's that simple. What the game will do, or sorry, what the editor will do, is it will find the next floor, which is basically the top of this table. So if I wanted to go back down to our floor here, all I have to do is press Enter, because we don't have any other entities or floors in the way here. So now you can see it's right back down. So say if I wanted to be funny, I could put this key on top of basically this guy's shoulders, or I could put it on top of this guy's head. It doesn't matter. You'll be using this method a lot. So just remember, press the Enter key to find the next floor, which will then cause an entity to go on top of other entities. So a good, let's see here, a good thing to show you will be crates. So let's pick this crate here and say I want to make a bigger crate. So what I can do is I can add multiple crates together and then I can stack them on top of each other. So now as you can see, I created a 2x2 by 2 crate, so it's too long, too wide, and too high instead of just a normal crate. So that about covers our basics on entities, so be sure to check out the markers, segments, and prefab tutorials as well to get everything down.